Oh man, welcome inside the Matt Mosley Show. Coming to you live every day at 1 o'clock. And man, lots of reaction yesterday. We've had so many great guests this week. Well, lately we've had Brad Sham, we had Chuck Cooperstein, we had Grayson Grundhafer on yesterday. That's gotten a lot of play, especially Grayson's basketball ability, putting up. Man, what a deal he's doing in his pickup basketball. Scotty, if we'd only had, I didn't even know that was available. I didn't know people kept stats on that kind of thing. So that was good to see that he'd recently gone for like 62 points. Surely not in one game. Like that must have been like over a series of pickup games or something like that. I don't know. I didn't know this existed. I think this is at Lifetime Fitness or something like that. So, and then today, we were going to do kind of a get you into the weekend, get ready for the big, huge Baylor pregame show, kind of ease in, and we'll have a little bit of an abbreviated show today, in deference to like an enormous weekend that we're about to behold. But I just at the last minute, one of the top gambling experts when it comes to, and maybe we'll get his take, in fact, on this whole NBA thing. But when it comes to like college football and NFL, Lance Taylor from Another Round is about as good as it gets. And he was available today, and he's going to jump on with us. And so we'll have some fun stuff with Lance, and that'll happen right around 2 o'clock. Right around 2 o'clock. He'll jump on. We'll do a quick 15, and then we'll probably say goodbye. So, Scotty, if I need to take some if I need to kind of, work with our sponsors a little bit more today and work in a few more breaks, you just say the word. I mean, I respond. I'm so coachable. I'm one of the more coachable people, Scotty, you've ever been around. I don't know if that's accurate. Central National Bank, speaking of sponsors, our presenting sponsor. So glad to have them. And Ascension Providence down there, Scotty is, almost on a daily basis, Scotty is talking to somebody from there, and one of their big time doctors. They do such an incredible job. Ascension Providence, and then yesterday, of course, we did the Schmaltz's trivia question. Please bear with me. I believe won that one, so he'll get 2 free sandwiches. We got lots going on, and we have breaking news, Scotty, in the NFL that I didn't want to hit today, and we got the that was a pretty quick one. The New York Giants coach Brian Daboll and running back Cam Scatterbo, one of Scotty's favorite players, have all been fined stemming from violations of the concussion protocol surrounding an evaluation of rookie quarterback Jackson Dart during their Week 6 game, the NFL and NFLPA announced Friday. Giants were assessed a $200,000 fine for violating the protocol. Daboll was fined $100,000. Scatterbo $15,000 for conduct detrimental to the league. You'll all remember that. Dart grabbed at his head on the ground after taking a hit on a third quarter sack, and he was taken to the medical tent. Daboll went to the tent, poked his head in. Scatterbo went inside the tent. Then Daboll was seen over there screaming at the team doctor. My gosh, this is like back in the 70s or 60s or something. I don't even know if Bear Bryant was ever screaming at the team doctor. I don't even know they had the doctor down there screaming at the trainer. I mean, it was like a weird setback moment. And so I think the NFL is completely justified in all kinds of fines there. Concussion protocol. Give me a break. Come on now. I mean, just don't just laugh in the face of what's hugely important. So we got that going on, and then other NFL breaking news. This coming down just about 45 minutes ago. New York Jets' Aaron Glenn, their head coach, declined to name a starting quarterback on Friday. That's right. I just want to I actually want to just play that the entire show tomorrow, even if we don't have breaking news in the green and gold game day. Like I would like that as underbed music. Have you noticed, Scotty, like when we're watching those Baylor and the other teams, and I got to go back and look at what Kelvin Sampson, I may have sent that to you, Scotty, I can't remember. Kelvin Sampson had some really good stuff on college basketball and how it's getting away from them and all of that. I like that. I like what he had to say there. And, you know, some of it is he's an older dude.
Well,
but he's still he's become a huge voice in college basketball.
Matt, I told you this when Scott Drew sent a tweet a few days ago, man. And then Scott Drew said more about it at Big 12 Media Days. They are putting together the Avengers to try and stop this insanity of college programs signing G League players. Like, it's crazy. So it's like I'm losing count of it feels like just about every notable big name basketball coach is kind of coming out and saying something about this. And none of them are like, this is fine. This is fine. They're all kind of coming out and saying, okay,
yeah,
let's draw the line. And I say that, and yet I don't know if you saw this. I should find the tweet. Right after Louisville signed that kid, there was the report of this other G League guy who was down to like BYU and a handful of other schools. So, oh man, but yeah.
But no, what I was about to say though, but all that's very interesting to me, is that, have you noticed though, it made me think of when we were playing the breaking news sounder, that when they go to a graphic on those, like the Big 12 Media Days, like they think we're incapable of looking at a graphic without music behind it. Did you notice that? Like, why is that a thing? Why can't we just look at a graphic and hear them continue to talk? Like, why do I have to have music blaring? Now, this does seem like an old man complaint, but I've seen this for years. It's like we're at the Big 12 Media Days. You got Scott Drew up on stage. You got everybody up on stage, and it's time to show a graphic, and let's play a bunch of music over the graphic while they're talking. That doesn't make any sense. Like, our production people need to look at this. Okay, back to our breaking news. Aaron Glenn, the head coach of the Jets, declined to name a starting quarterback Friday, shutting down all quarterback-related questions during a testy exchange with reporters. First of all, like, who really cares? You're 0-7. You're horrific. None of these guys are good options. Justin Fields or Tyrod Taylor. Like, why are you getting testy? You're 0-7. I mean, I know it's important. I know you got to go out there and try to win a game. Glenn said tersely. Oh, I love that word, tersely. Scotty sometimes gets very terse as you get closer to game day, Green and Gold Game Day Live. He's very terse because hasn't slept much. And he's usually coordinating with KWTX. KWTX will be showing a game tomorrow, so we'll be a YouTube only show, which means I think YouTube, I'm going to be a little less formal tomorrow. Might wear a t-shirt, might wear a ball cap. It'll be a real kind of a less formal Mosley. I probably will do neither of those things. Glenn, they asked him, believes withholding his choice will give the Jets a competitive advantage on Sunday against the Bengals. Like the Jets ever have a competitive advantage. Oh, he said, I can't tell you that. And then the coach did say this much: wide receiver Garrett Wilson and cornerback Sauce Gardner were ruled out. Players with contracts worth a combined $250 million. They will not make the trip. I mean, how could he not? Now, Taylor has had a knee injury. He took a helmet to his knee last Sunday. He's listed as questionable for this game. I like, and we can get to this here in a second. I like Jerry's description today of what, like, questionable. Didn't he say Scotty is like talking about Trayvon Diggs? He's really, really questionable. That should be on an injury report. Really, really questionable. And that leads me to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Scotty, I don't know if you have a neighborhood bookmaker. I don't know if you have like a bookie friend, maybe one of your old college buddies. But I would just say if you were tempted maybe to go outside of fantasy football, the more I think about this game, Cowboys at the Broncos, that line's hanging around about 5.5, somewhere around there. The more I think about this game, I love the Broncos. I love the Broncos in this game. And I don't want to send anybody down the wrong path. And we'll ask Lance Taylor, gambling expert to the stars. We'll ask him about this. But Scotty, I would think about taking the Broncos. I just have this feeling, and maybe Scotty, you were not that impressed when the Cowboys beat the Jets, for good reason, I might add. I don't think you're overly impressed with the win over the Commanders and their lack of threats in the receiving game last weekend. This could get ugly. This could be a bloodbath in Denver with the high altitude. Bo Nix, Sean Payton. Sean Payton loves putting it on the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys, he's great friends with Jerry Jones. He used to coach for the Cowboys. He loves putting it on the Cowboys. So I don't know, Scotty. I mean, I don't want to encourage betting, gambling, anything of that nature, especially given what we're seeing in the NBA, illegal activities, arrests being made everywhere. Scotty, how are you feeling about that game? Does that resonate with you, or do you like the Cowboys to cover the 5.5 out there in Denver?
This is probably the most uncertain I've been going into a Cowboys game this season. I could certainly see the scenario you're talking about playing out. I'm mostly pretty cynical about the Cowboys this season. However, Denver has sort of disappointed me this year. I actually picked them to reach the Super Bowl this year. I really like Bo Nix and Sean Payton. And I mean, I don't have to say much about that roster, but they've played some bad teams close this year. They had that huge come from behind victory. Was that 2 Sundays ago? Where they scored like 24 in a quarter or something to barely squeak out a win. This Cowboys offense is obviously capable of putting up 30 plus points any given Sunday. And so it wouldn't surprise me if this ends up being close. Just because Matt, here's what I would say about the Cowboys this far into the season. I still don't feel like they're as good as some people think they are, but I've become a believer in Brian Schottenheimer, man. Like I was a little down on that hire, but I like the energy and the spirit of this team. I like how much this offense sticks to running the football, which is something Mike McCarthy kept swearing he was going to do and never did. Javonte Williams has been awesome. Keep in mind, this is kind of a revenge game for him. Going back to Denver, the team that thought he was washed up.
Buckle up, Denver. Buckle up.
Bingo. And so I think I would bet Denver, Matt, but I am not going to be surprised if the Cowboys keep it close or pull this one out.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you're not so dismissive. I almost was scared to bring the Cowboys up. You were so dismissive of them.
Well,
I mean, after that Jets, and you're like, Matt, you're wasting my time. I don't even want to be on the show today. And then, after Commanders, you barely. So I'm still not impressed with the wins, but you can't deny after as far into the season as we are, that I think mentally the Cowboys, at least on the offensive side of the ball, look better than they've looked in a very long time. Dak looks the best he's ever looked in his career. Pickens, and I did guess this when we made that trade. Pickens is tremendous. Williams has obviously overperformed. So I mean, I can be pessimistic about the defense or the team or the final record all day, but like that offense is going to give you a shot in just about every game. This, Scotty, is what you would call the trade game. You go, well, Mosley, what do you mean here? This one everything's riding. Everything's riding on it because Jerry, and we're about to hear from Jerry. Jerry's taking a peek. He said kind of the same things about trade and, we'll listen if somebody wants to talk, this and that. Today, he gave a little more indication of a willingness to execute something. Scotty, here is Jerry Jones talking about like what would make him jump in here and make a trade to help his team.
Jerry, so outside of just that, then any particulars or anything like that, obviously with that coming up soon with the deadline, would you only be willing to add in general, again, not talking about specific positions, but would you only be willing to add if you thought, hey, this is a team that I think can really go far and be a Super Bowl contender?
Well, I would add a player on that premise. In other words, I do think this team has a chance to be in competition. And so under that criteria, and that's a good one, and that's all the reason in the world to have your alert sign up. So in that case, I do have my eyes open and interest level up.
Well, and when we're talking just, again, kind of about generalities, not anything specific, then when teams call, would it be something where you would be interested in potentially a player whose contract is expiring, or would you need to say, hey, we would rather have some control if we're going to add somebody?
Yeah, both. The opportunity of one with a contract expiring that you're dealing with a short-term situation until you have to address the longer term doesn't preclude a player that's on it's got 7 more, 8 more, 9 more regular season games. It doesn't preclude you from looking at that situation. And that has worked before. But both a situation, it could be a long term. So you can look at both of them. There's no, just because you're looking, just because you're talking, that's a long way from doing it. And I don't have to worry about, boy, I better not even open my mouth. I might do something that I would regret. I don't look at it that way. I entertain all action.
Okay. That's Scotty, that's like a T-shirt. I entertain all action. I like that. Boy, this is, and Jerry went on to say that while he doesn't always call other teams, and he basically doesn't do that, the way he calls those teams is using the media. I mean, you gotta, as much as people get tired of him and are infuriated by him, I love that he's just open about that. Like these shows I do, and this conversation we're having, when I say we're open for business, that's how I reach out to these other teams. That's how I let them know we might be interested. I like that. I like that Jerry's willing to do that. Now, the question becomes, it's what you were just talking about, Scotty. There are things that have made you more interested in this team. The way Jerry phrased it was, I think we're in competition. Now, the way the question was asked was, do you kind of need to be a Super Bowl contender? I don't think he was quite ready to go that far, but he didn't shy away from it. And the reason you keep hearing him and Steven talk about parity over and over is what they're basically saying is nobody's that great. Nobody's that great. Like if we ask you right now, if we had to come up with like an unbeatable team in the NFC, that doesn't really exist. And it's really the same in the AFC. I mean, Kansas City's playing better. Buffalo's kind of stumbled around a little bit this year. Generally, there's a team that jumps out there early. Sometimes it's been Baltimore, certainly not this year with Lamar being out. But that's what gives Jerry hope, and that's why they might be willing to do something. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that situation, and I think Jerry's looking at bringing in help. Now, part of the defense, they didn't have him last week. Jerry, when I was quizzing him and when he called me judge for asking him over and over about the Trayvon Diggs incident, which Scotty, I don't think we've seen, still don't really have an explanation. Man's just sitting at home on a Thursday night, has a concussion, has something happen at the house. Still don't have a great explanation on that. I mean, how often does that happen in life these days with the TMZs and the New York Post and everybody around? How often can you have a concussion at home and people don't get to the bottom of it?
It is shocking.
Yeah.
It is actually insane that we don't have more of an explanation at this point.
I feel bad. I feel like I should have provided one by now.
It's
weird. It's
I
weird
chuckle at Jerry calling you judge to me, and I'm not. I never just say things to inflate your ego, Matt Mosley. But that's what every good journalist should have been asking him. It is so weird. It's so fishy. It's so abnormal. Like, who doesn't want to know?
By the way, you seem to insinuate that I even have an ego. I'm known to be egoless here at Rogue Media Network, sir. Okay. As I remove my sunglasses. I want to hear that, though. On the subject of Diggs, Jerry giving a health update, and he touches on Trayvon Diggs, who is still questionable, I guess, technically, to play against Denver. But what did Jerry have to say about Trayvon and his availability?
Trayvon Diggs and Donovan Wilson looking for Sunday.
Well, again, as you know, those are the standard answers, game time. But I would say that questionable at this time on both accounts.
Jerry Jones joined us here on 105.3 The Fan. What is the outlook for Trayvon Diggs?
Well, again, I think questionable for this week, and we won't go past that. But questionable this week, real questionable.
Scotty, I like that. Real questionable. That's good. That's good. He's real questionable. All right. Yep. About $90 million. About $90 million contract. What was Trayvon? How did he get hurt? No. It was a concussion protocol. Can't really tell you what happened. Just sitting at home on a Thursday night. Going to miss 2 games because of it. We're sitting here talking about like the team's whole season hanging in the balance. The 2025 season hanging in the balance. And this guy is real questionable because of something that apparently happened at the house. I don't know, man. If I'm going to pay somebody about $100 million, I'd want answers. I'd want them called out. I would want them publicly held accountable for falling down and have something happen to the house. And you know what? If he trips over the dog or something like that, that's okay. Then you put that out there. He just had a stupid accident. He fell down. But the more they don't shed light on this, the more it's something weird here. It's something weird. And there's something that happened there at the house that or wherever it happened, okay? Let's not always take things at face value. He was at the house the other night, had an accident, and he's coming in here with a concussion protocol. Don't take statements like that at face value. It's like old Chauncey Billups after that game the other night. Trailblazers or even Trailblazers playing that game. Chauncey Billups says, we'll just accept wherever the cards may fall or wherever the chips may fall. Whoa. Well, about 12 hours later, or maybe not that much, Chauncey's in handcuffs, arrested in, where was Chauncey? Hanging out? Oregon, I guess, wherever the Trailblazers opened that season. And then you got Terry Rozier, Scary Terry, used to be good with the Celtics, used to be a good player, $100 million contract almost. Scary Terry, going to be behind bars, arrested. Now, these guys will be out on bail, but my goodness, the FBI has gone in on these guys. Head coach. Way to go, Adam. Way to go, Adam Silver. We got a commissioner that's out, Scotty just coaching everybody up on gambling. Everybody's behind, but I'm going to do an op-ed piece, and we're going to have betting kiosk in the arenas. And look at us. We're the cutting edge. We're the NBA. Uh-oh. Head coach arrested the morning after the season opener. What a mess. What a mess. Not that we don't have lame brains in the NFL like Dayball screwing around with the protocol. Not that we don't have idiots in baseball. I mean, even the great legendary Tony La Russa gets caught at a stop sign. His car just stopped for drunk driving, later in his career. I mean, these guys get arrested. They make mistakes. They get DUIs. Okay. You know why? You know what condition they have that causes that? They're human beings. They've got the problem of being a human being and making mistakes, like a lot of us have over the years. But, I mean, we have a hard time understanding mistakes of, multi-millionaires saying, you know what? I'll tell you what, I'm willing to throw my career away to sit over here and work with the mafia and screw some guys over in a poker game, in a mafia-backed poker game. You know why you don't get involved in that stuff, Scotty? Is because there's always somebody out there in that kind of activity that's already maybe gotten caught before, and you never know if you got a rat. You never know. Even old Al Sharpton, love him, hate him, whatever. Al Sharpton, the man we've seen on film for years in New York and, campaigning in the Democratic Party and whatever Al Sharpton's involved with. Hey, guess what? Guess who Al Sharpton has been helping out for years? The FBI. That's right. People, when they think they're about to serve serious time, guess what they're willing to do? Roll on people. So 34 people arrested. I'd say half of them right now are rolling. There's some, that's how you get them talking. You threaten about 20 years of prison time, and boy, they'll start singing. It's not, oh man, they're scared. They won't talk because the mafia will come after them. Those people don't really exist anymore. All right, Scotty, it is time to do some Campus Confidential. What's on Scotty's mind? Anything Big 12 Media Days related, college football related? Here we go. That's next.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform
at your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
Drive in the fall at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco. Huge savings and the best selection in Central Texas. From powerful Ram trucks, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, to adventure-ready Jeeps and stylish new Dodges, we've got the right ride for you. Upgrading, downsizing, or buying your very first vehicle, Allen Samuels has you covered with friendly service and deals that make driving fun. Don't miss the Drive in the Fall event, only at Allen Samuels.
Come by, let's be friends.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge?
Yes.
And you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Colin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who is Peggy?
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code Mosley to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code MOSLEY. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play-and-get-terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369.
Well, Matt Mosley Show. This is Scotty Swingler, and Underdog is a great way to keep up with college sports this weekend, and I always show you my college picks. We've already gone through this once, but just in case you still want to jump in with us on Underdog and maybe win some money, here's what I'm rolling with this weekend. John Mateer and Arch Manning take lower on passing yards. Mateer going up against a top 10 team in Ole Miss. Manning going up against a stingy Mississippi State team that's going to be desperate to beat the Horns. By the way, Arch Manning, not so good at football, if you haven't noticed. Take the lower on their passing yards. I've got Brendan Sorsby with higher than 33.5 rushing yards. I don't know if you've noticed, but Baylor's defense can't exactly stop running quarterbacks. They just can't. They can't stop a gust of wind, but certainly not Brendan Sorsby. And then Barry Bachmeier had 22 pass attempts against Utah last week. It was his lowest in 6 weeks. So I said higher than 22.5 pass attempts. If you want to win some money with me on Underdog, you should make those picks. And remember, use the promo code Mosley. You put in $5, they'll give you 50 in bonus cash just so you can keep playing on their dime. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. Do it every single week. Underdog. Make picks, win money. Make Matt Mosley come back on the screen. Here we go.
Magically, he appears.
It's amazing how that works.
Man, the Green and Gold Game Day show. We're less than 24 hours away from that.
Lord.
Yeah. And but we already have the KWTX.
That was my real-time reaction.
I hope KWTX, they got a big dose of Mosley. I would hope so. By the way, I noticed our buddies over Smokey and them had somebody on saying hire RG3, like you had proposed earlier this week, whatever. And
guess what?
Yeah.
That clip's going on KWTX tomorrow morning also.
Well, and, that guy obviously was goofing around because he said RG3 should have his wife as his offensive coordinator.
He said Gruden.
Well, and then
anybody that thinks Gruden would vibe with Baylor doesn't pay attention. So he was joking. He was very much joking.
He was joking, but then I love that our buddies then put the big headline. It was very Cam-like. Should Baylor, replace Dave Aranda with RG3? And of course, then the poor got Gelb. I don't really know. But he had to come back and say,
Matt,
this was sarcasm.
I'm going to tell you something, though. It is a joke, and I don't think in a million years RG3 should be a head coach at Baylor. I do not think that. But I do think he's right that more than ever, I think the head coach position currently in college football is least about actual coaching and way more about everything else. And I also think we mentioned Andrew Luck earlier this week in his role with Stanford. Deion Sanders is obviously much bigger than a former player, but his success as a head coach, I do think there is something to you are going to see almost kind of like NBA. Funny transition because we're going to talk about the scandal with Lance here in a minute, but almost like NBA basketball has kind of swung over to where we're hiring all these former players. Like former players are kind of the trendy lead candidate to be NBA head coaches. I think you're going to see a swing in college football where more and more you're going to see really notable players, former players come back, whether it's to coach, GM, fundraise. I mean, kind of like, Baylor's had former players come fundraise, nobody on RG3's level, but I think you're going to see more and more of that as this thing keeps being about NIL and contracts and money and all that stuff.
Well, it's about a lot of those things, but it's also about, like, you got to be a great talent evaluator.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing, like, for Tech, and here's what I have to say on Tech's behalf. It helps to have a huge pot, this enormous pot of money. I get that, but that doesn't mean you're always going to get it right. I mean, you think LSU and Auburn and some of these teams don't have, like, huge money to use in the portal? They do. They all do. All those SEC teams, outside maybe Vandy, and Vandy has somehow gotten it right. But Tech, those defensive tackles, the defensive end, I mean, they have nailed it. So you got to get a great and I still think it helped. I mean, like, I need to learn more about, like, the guy in Indiana, because it's still, like, that's the crazy one.
Yeah.
There's no reason why that should have worked. There's no reason why at a place where they had never won, probably didn't put the resources in, but he brought in the right people, but it has to be more than that. He's got a great attitude, and I love all that, but there has to be some X's and O's involved. So yeah, I agree with you. It has changed, but Baylor has this savant, and it's not working. They've got an X's and O's savant. So you're like, well, what else does he do? What else does he do besides being an X's and O's savant? I guess the players like him and they play for him. I don't know, but boy, he does not inject energy into the fan base now.
Well, and I don't know if he's a good talent evaluator. To your point.
I mean, well, yeah, and they kind of lucked out on Sawyer, didn't they? They bring Sawyer in and try to play him because they had to, because Shapen got hurt.
I was going to say twice they didn't pick him as the starter. Yeah.
They picked somebody else to be the starter.
Right.
So it's like they kind of lucked out on it. Now, once he became starter, Spavital and the offensive coaches deserve credit for helping develop him and put him in the right offense and everything. I got sad, by the way, listening to Satterfield say like, well, he is somebody we don't have to worry about his legs. And I thought, God, what a weird deal. How all these other Big 12 quarterbacks are so good at running the ball, including the Cincinnati quarterback, who's been great. He doesn't turn the ball over. And Baylor has a guy who's fast. And it's just like, no team has to respect his legs. No team. They line up. If they watch the film, he's hurt one team like on a 2-point play. And I think that was against maybe K-State. He's hurt. He has not hurt anybody with his legs. And he's fast. He's athletic. And Baylor doesn't use that at all. All right, Scotty, I'm sorry. I've cut so much into your time, but I know we're going to have an abbreviated. We're
having good conversation here.
Yeah,
Don't be sorry.
I like that. Oh, I am. I'm just horribly sorry. What do we have today? What do you have for me in Campus Confidential?
Let me start with my most, what I found of the most interest as I was perusing the headlines today.
Scotty, give me the graphic, by the way. I love the graphic.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Boom.
Yes.
There's the graphic. Okay, Matt. The Athletic / the New York Times, the New York Times, of course, acquired The Athletic. They ranked their top college football stadiums, but they just released this morning the results of the fan vote. So fans have now voted and ranked their favorite college football stadiums.
All right, fans, which they're all going to
fan vote.
They're all going to just vote for themselves. So it's really
you would think. I'm sure there's a couple. There's a couple folks who took this in. By the way, it's a good list. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it's a bad list. You might be disappointed that one of your beloved teams isn't as high as you'd like them to be. But would you sorry, would you like to guess how the fans ranked these college football stadiums.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Well, go for it. Who do you think they rank? Where's the number one college football stadium in America, according to fans voting for the Athletic?
I will say either the Big House or the Horseshoe. Let's go with or Notre Dame. Let me think. Let's go with Notre Dame.
You win a Schmaltz sandwich, Matt Mosley. You are correct. Notre Dame comes in at number 1. And to your credit, the Big House, number 2. 34% of fans voting for Notre Dame, 33% Big House.
McLean, where's McLean on here?
You know, I only see a top 10, Mosley.
Oh, no. Wait, are you telling me Kyle Field's not in the top 10?
Mosley, I'm telling you, according to fans, Kyle Field is not in the top 10.
They are misinformed. I mean,
I think you have a bias, sir.
I'm no Aggie lover, but that is an unbelievable place to watch a game.
It's gross. Let me give you the 10. Notre Dame, Big House, Tiger Stadium, LSU, Beaver Stadium, Penn State, the Horseshoe, Neyland Stadium, Tennessee. My parents went by there this week. Actually, they were up in Tennessee.
I've been there.
The Rose Bowl, Husky Stadium, Washington, Altson, and then 10th Sanford Stadium, University of Georgia. That is your top 10 according to the fan vote on the Athletic.
Those are fine. I thought that was it. That they did another one that was like the actual experts, the people,
staff rankings,
been to all those places, and Kyle Field came up a lot higher. And then also, I'll tell you who did well in that one from the Big 12, Folsom Field, just because of the beauty surrounding it at Colorado and those mountains.
Yeah,
BYU, Lavelle Edwards Stadium came up really well in that one. So,
sure. I think if I could go catch a game in any venue, it's become Lavelle Edwards. I think that would be awesome.
I have been to Death Valley for a LSU spring game, which only had about 50 or 60,000 people there.
Yeah.
But so I went to a spring game one time, but I think a Death Valley like this weekend, the LSU A&M tomorrow night, I'd really like to do that. I think that'd have to rank pretty high up there for me. And then maybe what would be next in the SEC? Probably. I mean, I think everybody needs to see a game at Alabama. I did notice Baylor people have been complaining that we don't have the LED lights. I think Alabama and A&M and all those teams that have the night, and I'm sure they do at Tiger Stadium.
Well,
those are pretty neat, I have to say.
I agree with that complaint, by the way, because it's actually more energy efficient. It's better tech, and Baylor just did like 2 years ago the updated ribbon boards and other things of that nature inside the stadium. I don't know why they didn't. Do the LED lights. I mean, it's almost become kind of standard fare, and Baylor's like the anyway. We don't need to gripe too much, but I resonate with that complaint.
Yeah. Okay, one more. You got one more for me? Because Lance will be jumping on here, although Lance is never in a huge hurry. If he shows up at 2:05 by 2:05,
let's do.
Yeah.
Well, we need a break too, so let's do one quick. Did you see who the guest picker is for College Game Day?
Shabuzi.
Incorrect. Nate Bargatze.
Oh, that's good.
I'm very, very, very excited. I think my favorite guest picker of all time is when Jeff Dunham did it at Baylor and brought the puppet on with him. He had Lee Corso and Kirk Herbstreit doubling over. It was awesome. Nate Bargatze, I believe, is the highest earning American comedian right now. Very funny. For you Baylor Christian folks out there, super clean, family guy. I think this is great. And he's
actually a Vandy fan.
Yes.
He's actually a real Vandy. They had somebody recently, Jelly Roll, and he's not, wherever they were, he wasn't even a fan of the team. It was just so stupid. Who was Ole Miss playing? I think they were at Georgia.
Yeah, it was dumb.
Yeah.
Well, and they've caught a lot of flack this week because people are noticing that they've only gone to SEC schools.
Yeah.
And so this was definitely you probably might have picked him anyway, but it's definitely also a calculated, who is somebody that everybody in America likes? Like, I don't know one single person that's like, that Nate Bart gets it. Like, I don't know a single person that doesn't love him. So it'll be a good segment.
All right. I like that. Okay, good stuff. Campus Confidential. Lance Taylor from another round coming up next.
Bubble wasn't here. I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Better sleep, inspired by nature. Your back, hips, and shoulders will fall into perfect alignment in any position, meaning that you get deeper, more comfortable rest. Visit ecoterrabeds.com.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
At Matt Piffle, we believe in celebrating your journey. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mappiffle.com and start celebrating your story today.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia. Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com.
A house is a property, but we live in homes. Home sweet home. Homes where the heart is. We aim to deliver the best home buying and selling experience so you can spend less time real estating and more time living.
WhyPersonalLoans.com. Request a loan anytime. Our partners can offer loans up to $35,000 with varying rates and terms. Review your loan offer with no obligation and decide what works for you. Visit PersonalLoans.com today.
This is what $500,000 in a duffel bag looks like. Actually not real. That's because it's actually prop money. It looks realistic from a distance, but up close you can see it says for motion picture purposes. Visit PropMoney.com today to get your money seen or money shot right with Prop Money Inc.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. U-Like.
VivoSun's mission is to empower growers with stylish and effective products, making indoor growing accessible and enjoyable for everyone. Visit vivosun.com today and get started making growing plants and vegetables easy and automatic.
All right, it is the Matt Mosley Show as we roll on here, and our man Lance is here. Lance Taylor, I've been told. He's waiting in the wings. Oh, there you are. Man, you're like some of these NFL coaches. You've got that logo on the cap. You got the smaller logo. What is that one? I kind of like that. It has a blue on that black background. I wish you would come up a little bit in the camera. Can you? Oh, there you are. There you are.
I'm working. Can you hear me, Mose?
Yeah, you're good. You sound fine. Yeah.
I am working on home studio. So anyway, I should have everything done by next week. So we'll see.
All right. Well, we'll just get back to you next week then.
That's fine. Okay. See you, man. What's up, Mose?
It's good to see you. It's good to see you. What a monster weekend it is, college football wise, triple header. Oh, good. See, I like that. Lance's lock.com, and you can go get some of these picks. And Lance, I was just and Scotty put some of our logos up there. I want Lance to see Central National Bank. Lance advises me for free on the side. There you go, Lance. Central National Bank, our presenting sponsor. Below your chin, Ascension Providence. Lance, I think I can find like 4 more spots on the screen. We may not be able to bring your face because we got all these sponsors signing up. But man, I've watched what you've done in Birmingham. Schmaltz's, one of the great sandwich shops in Waco. And so I study and I write these things down. I'm like, okay, who's this? Who does Lance have? So we love what you guys do. And even Dunaway, man, I like when he goes live. You know, he was somewhere this past weekend. I'm trying to remember what game he went to. And then he'll just go kind of live right after a show. So, and then Ryan does the same thing. So what I've liked is you used to be just a team and y'all kind of only did things in a studio together. And what I've noticed is it's like the Super Friends. You'll kind of will go out and then Ryan and Dunaway like being on the scene at places, don't they?
Yeah.
You like being at bars. I don't know if you particularly love being, on the field or at stadiums or whatever.
No, they're true media guys. More so Dunaway. Dunaway, he eats that up. He lives to be part of the media. Brown, not as much, but more so than me. I just don't enjoy it. We were in Tuscaloosa last week. Bud Light, our presenting sponsor. We did a show from a local bar down there on Friday and ended up staying Friday night, had dinner with friends, went and scouted out the scene and what was going on with Tennessee and Alabama, and then tailgated all day. And I actually got in my car and I was home by 5:30 to watch the fourth quarter of the 2:30 games and to watch USC Notre Dame and Tennessee Alabama in its entirety on my couch. I just don't like going to these games. It's a lot. It's a lot, man. Hey, but I appreciate what you've done with your sponsors.
Yeah.
Hey, you can never have too many, is what I tell people.
Yeah, and that's kind of that's what we're taking. Although, boy, you are much better at that stuff than I am. I will say this: I like the next round when y'all do these things. Like right now, you have something up, the Bear Bachmeier. I also was bothered by him wearing number 47. It just seems very odd and off-putting. But the more he wins, it's like if you do it, you better be really good. He's hard to stop. I feel like if you're 47, you better be able to run. You better be kind of a tough kid. And he does fit those roles. But I like what y'all done here because you've looked at some of the other quarterbacks to wear non-traditional numbers. And, the one I kind of forgot about, well, there's the big old Kentucky guy who, man, sadly got up to well over 300 pounds at some point. But Doug Flutie, number 22. We forget, my gosh, Doug Flutie, one of the most famous college football players ever, was running around out there number 22. And Lance, you and I are about the same age. I think we all remember like where we were when he completed that pass against, that was Miami, right?
It was against Miami. Absolutely.
And who was that that caught it? Phelan? Was that Gerald? Yeah. And so, but I mean, just him jumping around after that number. But I like things like that. who's your favorite non-traditional quarterback number ever?
Well, you brought up Jared Lorenzen. I mean,
Yeah.
the what do we call it? The hefty lefty. And by the way, if you Google right now, it's one of the more amazing images. He was playing semi-professional football for, I forgot what city, but it was the River Dragons or the River Monsters, and he was over 400 pounds.
Ooh.
And I mean, he looked like a out of shape refrigerator, if that's even possible. And sadly, he's no longer with us. But I think for non-traditional, a guy that didn't look the part, but then ended up playing like the part was Jared Lorenzen. I agree. Bachmeier, man, he's the only quarterback right now, though, in the FBS with rushing touchdown, passing touchdown in 5 different games. So, and obviously BYU is undefeated, 7-0 for back-to-back seasons for the first time in that program's history. So Satake is doing something right. They've got a tough one this week in Ames. We'll see what happens there. It's a game I stayed away from. Back to Lance's Lock. I do have 11 plays for tomorrow. I've got a couple in college football tonight, but I stayed away from the BYU-Iowa State game.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why Vegas, they can be undefeated, and every time they go on the road, they are the underdog. It's like week after week, they kind of sleep. And I don't know. It's an interesting, but boy, I love Kalani, Satake, and I love Dillingham. I mean, when you talk about these coaches' openings, I wanted to ask you, by the way, on these openings, and we don't know if LSU, if A&M, I want to talk about that A&M LSU game, but that probably would trump even Florida. Is that accurate, by the way? If LSU came open, is that a better job than Florida, based on the fact that they've won a national title fairly recently, and Florida's been kind of out there in the wilderness since Urban now? Well, I guess knowing you could probably make an argument either way. But of all those jobs that are going to open, are those the two? Penn State obviously is a huge one, but between Florida and LSU, what's a better job?
So I think it's LSU. There was a point in time where I think if we did our top jobs in college football, you would have been like Texas, Florida, USC, just because of resources and destinations and things like that. NIL's changed it a little bit. I do find this interesting, and I think you can make an argument, for either one, Florida or LSU. I just think LSU in-state, with the fertile recruiting ground they've got in Louisiana, you don't have any competition. I mean, you've got competition from other SEC schools, but right there in the state of Florida, you have so much going on with Miami and Florida State, and now South Florida and Central Florida. So there's a lot of different schools you're battling with. Louisiana, really, you're the only game in town. I found it interesting. We've got Joel Klatt, who I think is one of the best analysts in college football. He's with us every Monday from Fox. And we talked about the 11 job openings. We didn't go through all of them, but I was like, Florida's the best job out there right now. And he was like, it's Penn State. And he was like, there's more of a commitment financially right now. I just always heard it was a pain in the ass to get to State College, to Happy Valley. I've never been there personally, but I heard for recruiting sake, it was pretty difficult. So I just assumed Florida would be that better job. But, maybe not. I mean, he thinks Penn State is the best available job, but he did say if LSU opens up, he believes that will be the best available job.
Okay. That is interesting. I did want to repeat this. If Bama does go and loses at South Carolina, I think probably Ryan Brown will be put on blast. I'm just reading these words from earlier today. I don't see this as a scary game at all for Alabama. Boy, that just feels like a famous last words. And he's begging Bama fans to be mad at him for saying something like that. Do you tend to agree, or does would that game scare you just a little bit?
It doesn't scare me. Their offense has become god awful, and a lot of this is Mike Shula, former Alabama coach, is now the offensive coordinator for Lenora Sellers and this terrible South Carolina offense. They're 115th in scoring offense, averaging just a little over 20 points per game. The thing that worries you if you're Alabama, you go back to the Saban days, Mosley, and it seemed like every 2 or 3 years, a quarterback would have a career game. And Lenora Sellers, obviously, with so much upside and so many NFL scouts still saying, although the offense is awful right now, anemic, that he is still going to be a first-round guy. So if Sellers turns it on in a defense that has only given up 30-plus one game, and that was Vanderbilt, to a really good offense that's averaging over 40 points per game, this could become a problem for Alabama on the road. I think the benefit is, if you go back to the game last year in Tuscaloosa, South Carolina was struggling coming into the game. They're down 14-0 with 1:40 to go in the half. They score a touchdown. Then they get a quick safety. Then they get the ball back on a turnover, and they kick 3. So instead of 14-0 at half, game's over, all of a sudden it's 14-12 at half. And the game comes down to a final play, and Alabama wins it 27-25. And that kind of swung the momentum for Shane Beamer and Lenore Sellers, and they finished 2024 on a roll. So a lot of people believe that they were going to be a factor in the SEC coming into the season. Offensively, it just hasn't picked up. But I do think because they struggled with South Carolina last year, and I equated this kind of to Vanderbilt. Like, Vanderbilt wasn't going to sneak up on Alabama after beating them last year. Mm-hmm. So Alabama did have their struggles with Vanderbilt, ultimately pulled away and won that game 30-16. But I think with South Carolina, they're not going to play around with the Gamecocks, knowing they've got a bye in front of them. And this is one of those games they've yet to drop an SEC conference game. This is the easiest one they've played. They've played 4 consecutive SEC teams that are ranked. They've played 4 teams without a bye. First time in SEC history a team has ever beat 4 consecutive ranked without a bye. And so I think Alabama knows what's in front of them. It feels different this year with Kalen DeBoer as well.
All right, Lance. And by the way, when you know a coach is about to get fired is when he's being asked if he would consider handing off play calling duties and being more of a CEO type of coach. That is when you just go ahead and just get it over with. And that's where Hugh Freeze is right now. And it's sad because a lot of these are close games, but unfortunately, I don't know that matters. And so, there's another. And the thing is, all these openings, and it's not like we have just a huge amount of like great names, right? The guy at Tulane, I guess James Franklin's now a hot name, weeks after losing 3 straight, getting bounced out. But it's not like we just have these are great names, other than we just throw out outlandish names, right? Oh, John Gruden, Dion may leave Colorado, that kind of stuff. A&M at LSU. I have a daughter at A&M. I've been accused of being a little too Aggie friendly here lately. Did
you buy a border collie or a Shetland?
Whatever
those things are.
We have a dachshund. That's a.
Is there a Shetland?
No, it's a collie. It's not a border collie. Well, border collie. I had a border collie.
Border collie is white and black typically.
Yeah. But this is a Lassie dog. It's a small kind of Lassie deal. No, and we had a bear. We had to say goodbye to Miss Reveille 9. I have that right, recently, and they had a whole funeral and everything, and had some really good speakers at that. Now, A&M goes to Death Valley, and man, I looked up some things, and you being a great handicapper and having this incredible service, you look at things like this, but man, Nussmeier, who is supposed to be so great and in the middle of the Heisman race on throws of 25 yards or more this season, Lance, 1 of 16, I noticed. A&M, though, coming off a scary game out in Fayetteville, 45-42. Defense wasn't getting it done. Marcel Reed and those receivers are unbelievable. I think that's maybe the best duo in the country. LSU plays good defense, has been really bad on offense. Ags favored by 2.5 at Death Valley, which that has to be new. I mean, A&M's had some success against LSU, but I would have to think it's a very new thing to show up at Death Valley and be favored. LSU went to, where'd they go recently? Vandy, and we're actually an underdog in that game. So what are your thoughts? I'm not saying you have to give us a pick.
No. I actually like this game tomorrow. So historically, this is a better rivalry than a lot of people believe. It goes back to the old Southwest days for A&M when LSU was in the SEC and they were fighting for the same recruits. When you look at this game, when it's played in Tiger Stadium, LSU's got a 29-8-1 advantage over the Aggies. You mentioned Blake Baker's defense, and it's so improved. The number 10 scoring defense right now in college football, just giving up over 14 points per game. But the offense, 87th in scoring offense. It's been awful. And Nussmeier is not the quarterback we thought we would see. Ty Simpson, I think, is what Nussmeier thought he was going to be this year. And you look at A&M, the problem for A&M and I agree, Concepcion and Mario Craver, those have been great portal addition ads for Mike Elko in this offense. And Marcel Reed, has played really, really well. And he was missing some throws early, but they were still winning games. The problem is now they're on the road. And I said this before the Arkansas game. I think they're going 3-3 down the stretch. I just don't trust this team on the road. I know they've already won in South Bend. They won last week in Fayetteville. But A&M already beating Notre Dame, which is a ranked team on the road. They haven't beaten multiple ranked teams on the road since 2014. Now you're rolling into Tiger Stadium, desperate LSU team where Brian Kelly, by the way, say what you want about this short tenure at LSU, and he hasn't gotten to a college football playoff. Home night games in Tiger Stadium, Mose, he's 20-1. So he wins these games at night. I think it is going to be obviously an insane atmosphere. LSU fans are growing a little tired of Brian Kelly, but they'll be there in full force. And I think this is one of those night games at Tiger Stadium where they get the breaks. And I like LSU plus the 2.5 winning the game outright here.
Okay, I always like to ask you about games that just I don't understand the line because you have a much better understanding of that. And then I wanted to ask you about Cowboys at Denver. Be thinking about that Sean Payton. That line looks fine to me. Broncos by 5.5 or 6.5, something like that. Cowboys are in a bad spot here because Sean Payton would love nothing more than just to put it on his old friend. He does love Jerry, but he also has that sick sense of humor where he thinks it'd be really funny to run it up on him. Cowboys defense, I don't think they got it solved against the Commanders came in with no weapons. So I want you to think about that one a little bit. But Oklahoma favored by 5.5. I mean, I get Ole Miss coming off a tough loss. Obviously, Ole Miss can score with anybody. Oklahoma's had a good defense, but they couldn't handle a Texas team that has been so limited on offense. I know Mateer was just coming back. I don't totally understand that. Why Oklahoma? I just think Ole Miss is a better team.
I think three factors here, Mosley. I think when you look at Oklahoma's defense, it could be the best defense in the SEC. I mean, it's second nationally, giving up less than 10 points per game. Mateer has struggled since the surgery. There's no doubt about that. The first 3 games, this is an offense that was averaging almost 475 yards a game. The last 4 games, they've averaged just a little over 300 yards. So they have struggled offensively. But you look at Ole Miss. So first 5 drives for Trinidad Chambliss on the road last week in Athens, they score touchdowns. He was 1 of 10 in the fourth quarter. They completely melt down. When you look at the history of Lane Kiffin, he is 3-15 against ranked teams on the road. He's only 1-6 at Ole Miss on the road against ranked teams. And I just think this is a difficult spot. I just wonder, we're waiting for Mateer to look close to 100%. Is this the moment? I think he'll get some opportunities against this Ole Miss defense. I agree. It is one of the more balanced teams in the SEC, but they struggle on the road. So based on what I saw in the fourth quarter and Lane's history, I think Mateer, this is the game he pops, and I think Oklahoma wins this game.
All right. And then NFL thoughts. Did this Cowboys bounce back against Commanders? Did that do anything to you in terms of the way you view the Cowboys? They may not have Diggs in this game. You got to watch these world-class athletes on a Thursday night. That you can have something happen at home. You can just end up with a concussion.
We're really transparent with Lance's Lock. The one league that we haven't been able to figure out over the last year and a half is the NBA. We have killed everything else. We are killing the NFL. With that said, I think Dak is playing as well as any quarterback on the planet. And I think when you look at CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, he is picking defenses apart. It's going to be a little bit different altitude game in Denver where last week was so baffling. This new look New York Giants team with Jackson Dart and Cam Skattebo, they jump up. The defense is playing with energy now because those guys have rejuvenated everything. And they shut out the Broncos for 3 quarters, and then the Broncos go for 33 in the fourth quarter. Biggest fourth quarter scoring in the history of the NFL, biggest comeback. So I think Denver's riding momentum. This is going to be an elite defense they will see in the Denver Broncos. So I think Dak will struggle a little bit more than he struggled the last couple of games. And I think Bo Nix can have a field day against this Dallas defense. So I like Denver in this spot.
All right, man. Well, we need to get you going. Need to get you to the weekend. I'm interested, by the way, in this Todd Furman. You guys had on earlier today, and on the next round. I mean, like, did he? As we try to get our arms around this betting scandal in the NBA, I mean, I guess it makes. I mean, this commissioner was the one pushing, relationships with these companies and doing more. It was at the time it seemed pretty smart and forward thinking. And now, I don't know if that's the cause of this, but boy, this is ugly. This is wild, and this isn't just like Jonte Porter, right? This is a sitting head coach getting arrested by the FBI. When you guys talk, and obviously you watch the NBA and cover it from a gambling standpoint, like, how deep do you think this will go? And, like, how disruptive is this going to be for the NBA?
Well, again, I can't figure out the NBA, and I don't know if there's a correlation with the lack of minutes and how soft the injury report is. And Adam Silver is going to have to get his head around this, because when you're going to do a 9-figure partnership with DraftKings, and that's essentially what they've got, and what, the NHL, Major League Baseball, the NFL, all these major leagues, now that you and I grew up in a time where that was one of those vices. It was taboo. Like, ESPN wouldn't touch gambling. They wouldn't talk about lines or anything. And just over the last, 3, 4, 5 years, I mean, this thing has exploded. And if it is going to become part of the norm, you can't affect the integrity of the game. It blows me away. And I still think some of the details have been sensationalized. Terry Rozier, how does a guy with almost $100 million guarantee contract, the initial report was some dude cashed in about $14,000 playing the limited minutes that Rozier played. The Chauncey Billups, there's different layers to it. What was going on with these high-stake poker games, that is fascinating in itself. Did he set up, other players to actually lose to guys that had mob ties? So, I mean, there's a bunch of different ways to go on this, Mosley. But I think the most important is how the leagues are going to figure out these partnerships with, these gambling houses and sports books, and, without affecting the integrity of the game, because everybody's wagering now.
Man, who do you, between you and Ryan and Dunaway, who would be the quarterback at the table in one of those in one of those poker games? Who do you think would be kind of the best play caller if y'all got caught up in a mob-backed
This is going to blow you away. I don't know how good. I know Brown doesn't play poker. Dunaway plays every week. He got a weekly poker game. I don't know how good he is, but he plays a lot. I have never played. This is going to shock you. I have never played poker in my life.
Wow.
Yeah. I will gamble on. I've gambled on Little League World Series. I've gambled on U.S. Olympic women's soccer. I've gambled on, the presidential elections multiple times. I have gambled on a ton of stuff, but I have never, ever played any poker.
Wow. That does kind of surprise me. And I'll work with you on some Texas Hold'em next time we're together.
Can't wait.
And by the way, that Baylor-Cincinnati game, watch out there. 50, that really could be about a 48-45 type affair. Bears are going
I agree.
out.
I'm looking at a track meet. I think Baylor is obviously underachieved. That scoring defense is awful. Brendan Sorsby, one of the best quarterbacks nobody's talking about. Baylor, by the way, 0-5 their last 5 against the number, so not covering Dave Aranda.
Oh, man, things are not looking great for Dave, but we shall see. You just never know. Coach Satterfield, he's done a great job just when you thought Cincinnati was in trouble. Lance, thank you very much. Lance's Lock, lanceslock.com, and it's one of the great values out there. And as Lance said, they're having a big season in NFL. There's nobody that knows college football better than Lance. And so, man, congratulations on all the success, and we hope folks keep showing up over there.
Hey, Mose, I appreciate it. Free play every single day. You can get on, you can monitor, you can try us out, daily packages. But we've got 2 games up tonight in college football. We've got game 1, the World Series, up and available. We'll be killing baseball. Full slate tomorrow, 11 plays up right now. And obviously the NFL, we've been scorching. So appreciate it. Hopefully when I jump back on, you will have having more logos and advertisers next time.
We'll have the entire thing dotted. And so, yeah, I'll continue to let you see some of these contracts, some of the things that are going on here on the Mosley Show. Thank you, Lance.
See you, Mose. Have a good weekend.
LT heads off into the weekend, and man, he knows his stuff, does a great job, and it's fun to have Lance on a lot of different topics for sure. All right, we're going to get you ready for the weekend, and Scotty, come back on here for a minute before we say goodbye here. Scotty may have. Oh, good. There he is. Are we good to say goodbye here? I didn't want to cut you short on any of our great sponsors. I did want to talk about the Brazos Landing, of course.
Of course, we need to talk about the landing.
Whoa. I mean,
the bang shrimp.
What do you think? I mean, I could envision a scenario where we don't want to outstay our welcome. And boy, you went in there pretty strong on some of those, some of that guac and the queso and everything. But
I love a good guac.
That was a good situation, especially on a pretty day, and just the wind, the beautiful kind of fall wind coming in.
Are you teasing me? Are you teasing me about potential plans mañana?
I could see us coming straight off the show. I would like to say good. I mean, I know you plan these things out to the final second. I do wish you would kind of give us like 10 or 15 minutes at the end of the show to get in position to watch the start of the game. But no matter when the show ends, the Green and Gold Game Day program that tomorrow, and again, watch us on KWTX. In fact, we have a really nice package that Scotty's put together that will air tomorrow morning, Scotty, around 9
to 10:30 a.m. We've got content for you all the way through on KWTX, Mosley, Souza, Swingler, Lynch, Smokey, the whole gang. 9 to 10:30 on KWTX. And then, of course, the live show tomorrow. Mosley, Lynch, maybe Swingler. We're a little short on crew tomorrow, Mo, so I might be behind the camera once again, but we'll have the full 2-hour 1 to 3 pregame show on YouTube. That's Green and Gold Game Day on YouTube.
1 to 2:40-ish.
You know, we can find a middle ground there, Matt. I don't know if you've noticed, you haven't received the rundown from me yet. That's because I've been a little run down trying to stay caught up this week with all the things.
Believe me, I can sympathize. These 7-day weeks during football, yeah, it's a lot, but yeah, we do something pretty fun. So I only whine to my wife occasionally. Meredith has to hear a little bit of that, but for the most part, I realize how fun this is, what we get to do, and then just knowing what you get to do with just two big personalities, Souza and Mosley, every day. I just don't even know. It must be like Christmas every day, Scotty.
It is something every day. There is always something.
I don't know. I have become much easier to work with. Just know you've gotten me at a good spot.
I've got the sanctified version.
There was a time that, like, the hour you're trying to do with Souza, you just would have not. I would have been pelting you throughout that hour. I am now just relaxed. I just kind of let it.
I did have to give him a slightly hard time this morning because it was let's tape a 25-minute interview at 9:40 for the 10 a.m. show, and then good luck turning it around and playing it at like 10:20. I was busy this morning.
You kind of have to, occasionally you have to say, I just can't, we can't do
that. I did it. And then I sent a text afterward like, hey, let's not make a habit of that. Yeah. But that's okay. That's okay. It was Babe Laufenberg, Matt. So it was a great conversation. It was great.
I think it should have been stop. Man, I'm going to have a talk with Pete and you, by the way, because these are a lot of I was talking to Babe the other day. By the way, Babe is so funny.
Let's get him on.
I know, but I'm stepping. Well, it's not y'all. It's just I've got to be a little more clear of some of the people. But Babe's so funny because most people like Lance. and most people in our lives are pretty cool about this. Like, it just didn't hit me to have Lance till literally like an hour before we had him or 2 hours before we had him. And Lance is like, yeah, shoot. Yeah, I'll do that. Babe, who is the nicest guy ever. I mean,
I could tell today.
Babe
very kind.
He is very kind. And
Yeah.
he's been through some tragedy in his life. And
Yeah.
he's very, very kind. And he's a longtime friend of mine. But one morning, or I think maybe I even asked him a day in advance, which is a lot for me. And I got something like, ha, 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 thanks for giving me so much time. I'm like, okay, babe. I didn't know I had to start like 2 weeks ahead. But anyway, good to know. But, Brad Sham was great. They make a good team. We had Brad Sham. We got a lot of great guests on these shows. So that's fun. Thank you, Central National Bank. Thank you, Cherry Johnson, Siegmund, and James. We celebrated Scott James' birthday. Thank you, Alan Samuels. Oh, my gosh. How could I not bring up Alan Samuels? Those 1500s, those deals I was giving you, like on the APR, like the 0% financing for, I just could not believe how long, for like 48 months. I mean, these are some huge deals. And then the money off on those Laramies, those that was kind of wild. So you can go whatever direction you want to go. I one time did one of those Dodge Charger cars, and we drove it to Memphis. And I mean, it was just like a poof, poof. And in fact, Ted Teague was monitoring me from afar. He's like, you guys are going a little fast. Those are awesome. Love those. So love what they do over at Alan Samuels. And so, man, we're just we're very excited about all our partners. And then tomorrow we'll do the pregame show, and then we'll run right over to the Brazos Landing. Thank you, Central National Bank, our presenting sponsor. Brian Fonville, the Nesbitt family. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Joe's a thespian and actor on the side, and one of Texas's top bankers. So really neat to be associated with them. For Scotty Swingler, I am Matt Mosley. We will see you tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon at 1:00. Good night, everybody.